is going to take the longest to cook here is the eggplant. And then also just maybe like the harder, firmer mushrooms, but like it's eggplant that basically takes a little longer. And then I'm just gonna wait. Once it boils, I will add this spice mix to it.
Oh, wow. Nice.
With the toasted rice. It smells so good. So.
Oh, wow.
Method for like any sauce, basically?
Which one? Sorry.
Method of like adding rice to like, I don't know, if you got soy sauce and vinegar and you're doing a stir fry, but you want to thicken it, because normally like they put cornstarch, which I never use, but then you're pretty watery. So would that work?
Rice flour is something you can get anywhere else, and it can replace things like cornstarch or like a roux. So to replace it as a wheat flour, obviously it doesn't have that gluten that wheat does, right? That's why making your own toasted rice flour is like next level. You can have this inside your pantry staple and like wow people when they come over after COVID.
So, I mean, it seems like a next level, but it's like really easy.
Yes, it's super easy. It's like, it almost feels like it's like a secret spice, you know? Like, what is this? So toasty.
It smells really good.
So, and I had this weird, like preconception of white pepper being like the thing that's always on like tables and it tastes like
yeah.
So I was like, but maybe I should add more.
Yeah, fresh toasted white pepper powder is so different to what you get from like the little spice mixes. Yeah.
It's cool to know.
Alrighty, so mine's boiling. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to it. Few tablespoons would be enough. And then it will just take a few minutes for the rice to cook, the rice flour to cook here. And then it will thicken the stew even more. I'm gonna add this, the fish sauce wakame thing in here. So you can imagine all of those flavors that are inside here already.
And so you found this recipe when you were lost. And what do you think there's something about noodle soup that is like, why is it so comforting?
Like, I think even when Peggy and I were in Perth, like I was sick and she made noodles and congee for me, and my mum's looking at me going, what the hell's happened to you? Like, like it was chicken soup or something for me when I was growing up, right? But now it's basically just switched to noodles, congee, and those sorts of things. It's crazy, but that comfort that you get out of it.
Nice.
So just get to a point where you have added in like I would say like I'm just adding another tablespoon of this because I want to thicken this without reducing any of my liquid any further. And then it will just thicken a little bit. Add salt and soy sauce if you need. Make sure that you're picking up on the savory level. Oh, totally forgot. It's okay.
Do you have to peel like the outer layer of lemongrass, or is there
No, unless you don't want to like accidentally chew into something that is super fibrous, I would not care about that. Yeah, I just like smash it normally, like with a knife, to squeeze it like that, so that all of that oil and aroma is coming out. And then the flavor will just release much easier.
And is it like spring? Like you don't use the green part?
And now I'm gonna just add this. At this point, I'm also adding in Thai basil. When you're doing like soups and stuff, it's not like how can I say this? Like the stems are also very, very flavorful, you know. So like I'm not very picky about just picking each leaf, you know. The stems have a lot of flavors and aroma, especially cilantro root. It's what makes cilantro. So at the end of this, I'm just gonna, you know, the herbs, if you cook it too long, the flavor will disperse. So I'm adding the herbs in towards the end and then just like mixing it in. But the lemongrass should go a little bit earlier. That was my fault. So you can see the soup is like thickening. Yeah, it's already thickened.
Was there any? I went to this kind of non-health store. They didn't have many options.
So like a supermarket.
What store?
A non-health store, isn't that just like a regular supermarket then?
Exactly. Which is always interesting. Like you get more. There's more variety, but yeah, not the alternatives that you kind of used to from the health store.
It smells so freaking good here, I must say.
Oh, kind of jealous.
yours will get there once you've added in all the herbs and stuff. It smells amazing.
Yeah, the herbs, the Thai basil, just balancing some flavors. Sometimes like that's the thing with like Asian cooking. It's like soy sauce is not just use a soy sauce. Like, you know, like a fried, like when you go to a Chinese restaurant and a Chinese chef cooks, soy sauce is generally like mixed with like MSG and sugar and like pepper. So it's like a balance of a bunch of things, seasoning. So when we're using soy sauce, it's high in sodium, and therefore I need to like balance it off with a little bit of sugar. And therefore using better sugars like coconut sugar is the choice to make here in order to make your dish stand out. Yeah. Another option, I don't know if you've used this ingredient before and if you can find any out there, but like mushroom seasoning has become like the thing.
What is that?
Yeah, so it's basically like extracts of mushrooms, dried mushrooms. Some stuff out there, there's like a lot of additives. Well, not a lot, like a couple of like additives to stabilize and to keep it dry. But the ones that we get are quite pure. And so this adds so much friggin' like umami-ness to the soup. You need to find this.
And it wouldn't, for example, if I have like reishi cordyceps, you know, kind of more like health mushroom powder, that's not gonna do it, right?
No, that's more for like your shakes or coffee. Yeah.
Whereas it looks like chicken pellets, but like small versions, like what you feed your chooks. So you could potentially use it for the farm, you know, where Josh has got the one chicken, if he's still got it.
Right, exactly.
Try it, Joel.
Oh man.
I feel like
wow.
most is in the wok.
Hmm?
It's so much cooler because it's in the wok.
Can we take a look at your pot? That was yummy, right?
All right. There we go. Yay!
Oh, wow.
Nice. Have you given it a taste so far?
Yeah, I just tried it and it's delicious. surprisingly. I'm surprised.
I am sure.
I'm sure it would be.
It's all just about like balancing the flavors, you know. Ours is super umami. Like I want to send you some of this stuff, the mushroom seasoning for you to use. It's so.
We could definitely use some of that mushroom seasoning. Wow. And should I put the what I think is the IV gourd vine in now? And
Yes.
do I take it off the stalk or
No.
just...
Use the whole thing.
And it doesn't matter how much.
It's so big.
It's like a tree.
You might have to like just cut it shorter.
Do you eat it, or is it more like a seasoning?
Do you find it like super fibrous? It is.
So.
Okay. Then just like snip out the most fibrous parts. And what I mean by fibrous is like that it's like hard to chew, you know.
Right. Yeah, but these little springs.
Yeah, they're like pea sprouts. Oh. So at the end, we're gonna be adding a bit of the noodles. Okay. So
mine aren't.
Yeah. So yours will likely need to just be blanched, right? Whereas ours is more like it's just for show. It's like a chicken noodle. A fake chicken noodle soup. So this is gonna quickly cook. And soften. And then it'll be ready. But you can see like our soup is already quite thick.
I mean, like, what kind of thickness are we looking for? Is there a way to measure thickness of soup?
It should not be, it should not be clear. It's quite murky. The color comes from the toasted rice as well as your soy sauce. Yeah. And obviously, like, the length of how long you've cooked it and reduced the liquid will also change, right? So the longer you reduce it, the thicker it becomes. Okay, so this is technically done. Are you okay with the seasoning? Do you like the balance and everything? So I'm gonna plate this up.
Well, coconut sugar wouldn't have added something nice there. I could definitely, but it's okay. Strangely, this ivy gourd seems to have given it a nice sweet, kind of a slightly sweet vibe.
Fab.
Kind of like oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to garnish it with a bit more.
Okay. I feel like your cats should appear. I feel like your cat needs to be like have a little seat in the kitchen.
My cat?
Yeah, your cat.
I'm actually not at home. This is my brother's home.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If it was our home, they'd be everywhere. Both of our cats are like, they're like, what do you call that? Especially Pepper. It's
Very
like
close.
she waits for a Zoom meeting to happen, and she like runs up and like sits in front of the computer. She has to do that one time. So finally, I'm gonna garnish this with some fresh dill and the Thai basil.
Oh.
And that's it. We have a Laotian orlam soup with no chicken. How does
Amazing. That looks like a good bowl.
right?
See how
Okay.
show the bowl like that. Okay.
Nice.
Show the bowl.
Oh wow, fancy.
Yeah. So, did you add extra bird's eye chili, or it was the one from the soup?
It was the one from the soup, yeah. And if I'm adding it on, it's more just for color, like for a photo.
Pretty.
Who is that?
Huh?
Yeah, golden. Hi.
Ellie, look. Ellie. Okay, got I need some herbs. Herbs. Then I need a spoon.
We're launching kind of like a zero footprint Asia arm.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of zero
I
footprint.
didn't know it.
Yeah, so Zero Footprint is an NGO out in California. So Anthony and Karen, his wife, started, and Christian started Zero Footprint about 5-6 years ago. So the whole idea is that they would mobilize restaurants to help funnel grants, basically funnel money from diners into funding regenerative projects. So whether it's like carbon farming projects or composting or managed grazing project type of thing. And they've been really working hard on this for the last 2 years, 2-3 years. And plus there's a lot of new science around regenerative farming through Project Drawdown. So it's something that we are inspired by, and I truly believe that is the biggest impact and solution when it comes to creating carbon sinks, new carbon sinks, in order to draw down atmospheric carbon. So the whole, when we got in touch with them, it was at the Melbourne Food and Wine Festival in 2018. And we went through a life cycles assessment. So that gave us a measurement. It was like a measurement tool for us to recognize what our footprint was in the restaurant. And we thought that with that experience, I think that other restaurants should actually be using this type of tool, conducting an LCA, like life cycles assessment, understanding your output, whether it's in water, energy, or gas, and then understanding the life cycles behind ingredients is essential to reducing our carbon emission, But as restaurateurs and as chefs, we don't get this knowledge. We don't know about it. In cities like ours, we don't calculate our total amount of greenhouse gas emissions based on LCAs. It's only based on like fossil fuel and production or consumption. And therefore, it doesn't actually track the entire footprint of ingredients that are imported. So there's a lack of transparency, and what we want to do is provide that kind of transparency for restaurateurs so that they can actually improve on these measurement points. Yeah. So it's identifying what these projects are, who the restaurants are that can help, and then us acting as an NGO funnels that grant into building projects that generally don't get funds from government. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Amazing.
I mean,
I didn't know much about that, so I'd love to learn more about it. That's so cool.
Yeah. And meeting advisors and professors here in Hong Kong who are actually doing soil biology tests or soil tests, and seeing the exact amount of like carbon that can be drawn down if you apply, let's say, 1 acre of compost or compost over 1 acre of land. And if that increase of organic matter goes up by 2%, what it actually means, how much carbon can actually be stored in the soil. Like that stuff is so exciting for us. So yeah, we're kind of just like identifying people who will do that.
Great. I agree. Like they're really on it with the 30-30, and are thinking about like long term, like how do we treat our land? How do we produce enough food? Whereas I guess Hong Kong doesn't have the luxury of thinking like that because of China, right?
Well, they kind of think like we can rely on, you know, the cities in the Greater Bay Area, you know.
Yeah.
You know, what the pandemic has actually shown us is that when that lockdown, the first lockdown happened, the ingredients that were coming from China became more expensive. So they jacked up the prices on the ingredients that were imported, even when it was coming in from China. But then the Hong Kong local farmers kept their prices at the same range without increasing it. So like, you can't control that, right? If businesses want to take advantage of other people's suffering and like increase prices so that they can gain a bit, then what can you do? You know? So,
Yeah. I have managed to plate my thing.
yay! Delicious! Wow! Yay! Awesome.
I don't know if it's
I want, if you can find dill tomorrow, like try it out as well. Like and add it to
right with the dill.
Yeah.
And the white peppercorn and the Szechuan.
Okay, let's give it a try on camera.
Okay. Really,
I'm silly about
let's try it.
Ooh. So warming. Noodle soup.
Let me try again. Yum. That's so good.
So meaty. So yeah, this
That's
is
my first soup that I've made at home that I like did from scratch.
really. Do you usually
Yeah.
make any soups?
Like I don't know, like usually I'm like cheating on something, like the veg stock I didn't make, or no. I know that you probably didn't even, that probably sounds crazy for you.
But it's all about spice. Like there's really little like vegetables, right? In terms of making a usual vegetable stock. For me, like it was just mushrooms and then the spice mix, right? The toasted rice, which adds like thickness and depth to the soup, and then all the herbs. So it's pretty much
Amazing. I'm so impressed without the garlic and, you know, onion that I would normally use, that it's so flavorful.
Yeah. And you can still use like shallots and all of that in there as well. I think the original one they did use shallots. So,
They use shallots.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to be cooking with you. Over how far are you? Like thousands of miles away. So it's really fun to just do something lighthearted and like, you know, leisurely.
It's so, and I'm so excited by your project and Provenance and learning more from your cookbook. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
But this recipe will be inside the cookbook, and yeah, so just go on and share and pledge, and we'll share all of the media collaterals with you afterwards. Okay. Well, have a great dinner, you guys, and thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome.
Thanks a lot.
To see you. You too.
So nice to cook with you. What a like fun way to hang out.
Yeah, I know, right? I
was so.
I think I wish it was like normal drinking hour for us, so we don't like feel left out. Like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not
a weekend. It's European, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
COVID times.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
how we justify it.
Peggy. Thank you, Peggy.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
All right.
Enjoy your night, guys. Good to see you. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.